My husband, 36 meters, said something interesting. It's not my 33F house anymore, I guess? I, 33F, and my husband, 36, we'll call him Jake, have 3 little ones under 7. We moved to a new state and started building a new house. This was before the recent global pandemic, so we got a substantially large home for a great price. I am talking 4K SQFT, 5BD, 4 bath. This is relevant later. For 280K. Jake has an older sister, 40. Her lifestyle is very different from mine. We have the same profession, however I graduated, got married, and had a baby all within the same year, so since then I've been a SOM. Whilst she is living in high-pay cost area, solo. Her lifestyle is glamorous, but her attitude is gutter. Oh, and she makes twice as much as my husband. For those of you thinking I'm jealous, I can write forever in another post, which I might do, but even the small snippet I'm writing now could sum up a general idea of our relationship. So during the pandemic, Sil got married and pregnant to someone in a different continent. She decided she wanted to move closer to our family. During this time my Mill, 74, and Phil, 84, moved in with her 2 months before the baby was due. 2BD apt. They're both able-bodied people, believe it or not. Sil tried to pass them off onto us. Remember, we're a 7 hours flight away, saying she needed space, etc. We told her not only did her dad have his doctor apps set up there, but she will also need the help since her husband wasn't coming anytime soon. We were right. Mill went to hospital and became nanny. Thus it began. I found the perfect luxury house and community. Sent her all details and videos of me walking through this place. It's 25 minutes away from my house. She swore up and down it wasn't her thing, etc., etc. At the time the house I showed was 5BD 4 bath, like a Barbie dream house. Even my husband loved it. With all the top upgrades it came to 445K. We said build it. It takes a year. If you don't want it you can leave it. She still decided no. I understood this and wasn't bothered much since I figured she's having a baby, so stress and stuff. After she had the baby, she resumed with having Jake and I search for a house. Petty me. I resend her everything I sent before. She loved it. She flew down and signed the contract now at the price of 590K. My husband and I were diligent in the house process, continuously checking up on it, etc. However, whenever the builders needed her input, she would make them wait 23 weeks before giving them an answer. She then started to tell us she wasn't sure she wanted to move 2/4 of the completion. The builder's agent and hers would contact us because she was difficult to deal with. We know. This continued for till the house was completed. Unfortunately, during the construction my mother was diagnosed with a cancer that required me to go take care of her. Different country. The children and I were gone for 8 months. She beat the cancer. I returned home. 2 weeks later my mother passed. I returned to her home solo to mourn and handle the estate for a week. Upon returning, my husband informed me that his sister is closing on the house and finally flying back down. It's been a year now. To see it. Cool. She came, she closed, then flew home to handle her moving affairs. This was a month worth. I had 2 family members visit for a weekend trying to help with the mourning process. Upon leaving I knew that the sister and whole family would be staying at my house for 2 weeks to start moving into their house literally the next day. So, they came. Was alright. I gave Sil all the stores, even went with her to some. This is where it gets gritty. For the first 13 days she supposedly didn't find anything. Remember, she also had a month, and all the time during construction, to search for furniture. Finally, at the end of the 2 weeks, she bought herself a bed. So now she still needed sofa, table, parents' bed, child's bed, Week 3 comes around and no purchases. Week 4 comes around, she's still at my house for some reason and finally buys a couch. A month and a week total, she says she'll be heading out to her house with the baby. My husband asks what about parents' bed? She says OMG, I forgot about them. I guess I can get a mattress and box spring and put it on the floor. Will that be alright? My blood boiled. Points to recognize. The parents are old. The mother has mercilessly watched her son for 20 months so far. And I continuously show her queen sets with all the stores we visited. I left the table and returned to sulky me in my room. When my husband returned, I reminded him how he said 2 weeks and we were now on 5. We decided the next day to bring her to an outlet. Didn't matter. Like the trips we did before, she quickly walked past queen bedroom sets. It was evident to me she had no plans whatsoever to move her parents into her house. She looked around the store and every bed set she would say, I can't fit this set in my guest room. Your guest room is larger than mine. Her guest room is bigger than the room she's currently staying in at my house, which has a 6% queen-size bed set in it. This was Saturday. I reminded my husband I'll be having my sister, aunt and best friend over the next Saturday, flying from my home country. So, he needs to handle his sister and fam. He assured me it'll be taken care of. I also told him about his sister plans to keep her parents at our place. My husband responded with, well, it'll be 50-50. I responded with 50-50 what? She built the house knowing she was moving in with her parents. Even got a sliding door installed in their room so they could quickly walk out to the yard. He responded with the 50-50 again. I again relayed, for people living 20-ish minutes away you don't need to do 50-50. Let me just add here, I'm cordial with the parents but that's it. So, this moving in thing, not only a shock but a WTF. My husband traveled for work the next day. The sister supposedly moved out of my house Monday and hired a temporary nanny. Husband won't be here for a while. However, she left her room with 2 bags full of her baby items. This has happened before when she bought clothes on the house. She left dirty baby clothes and diapers packs because baby, grew out of them. Our children are older than her son, so this made no sense. She left it for us to dispose of. This time she left diaper bag, diapers, clothes, blankets, medication. I took a picture and sent it to my husband. He told me not to move anything. I reminded him my family was coming and I needed to clean the room. Again he told me not to touch it. He doesn't want conflict. What? Yesterday I called my husband and informed him that when he returns Wednesday we'll need to talk. He said let's do it now. Sure. I cussed him out as I packed his sister's things left in the room into a bag. I packed all the bottles, baby food, and utensils from my kitchen. I placed it all in the foyer. My husband said just please put it in his mom's room. I responded with whose room and ended the call. Forgot to mention my garage has boxes of diapers, a stroller and nonsense of hers in it. Didn't she move into her house? I reiterated this to my husband, which he agreed. Today my husband returned home, saw the full carload that I collected and agreed. I asked him about the bed for his parents, which he said he doesn't know if she got one yet. Right. My children were being kids when it came to dinner. Very annoying. They didn't eat dinner, so I sent them upstairs to their room. My husband suggested we cook them something else. I made sautéed beef and rice noodles. I said nah, my parents used to say eat or sleep and there was nothing wrong with the food. My husband replied people don't do that. I said well, in my house I'm not going to let them waste food. Maybe in an hour we'll try something else. My husband responded with stop saying this is your house. I was taken aback and said what? In my house you want me to stop saying my house? He replied with well, do you pay the mortgage? I laughed, loud enough for his parents to hear. pulled out my phone and started canceling my husband's authorized credit cards. I am a SOM, but I have passive income of $3K a month. I use this for our kids' clothes, groceries, school lunches, my car 2023 Nissan Pathfinder, internet, streaming services, etc. My credit is excellent. Well, my husband crashed his, and of course to rebuild him I authorized him on 3 of mine. My husband pays mortgage, car insurance, phone bill and a $8,000 loan he owes me. My name is on the deed of the house. He's angry sleeping now since I am upset enough that I finally wrote on Reddit, which of course he doesn't approve of. There's now 2 days till my family comes over. His parents are still in the guest room. The accumulated baby items in my garage, and I am feeling a strain on my mental health. I personally think now that my mom is gone, they're trying to make it seem like my family doesn't matter or something. When I wanted to use the guest room before for a hobby, it was meant for guests, all our friends, etc. Now he's putting it as his parents' room? Lol, I don't even remember my question for y'all. Like if the sister wanted to chill solo in her new house for 2 months or something, she needed to only ask, and if I wasn't having people coming over, no big deal. But she didn't. Neither did my husband. Help somewhere, I guess? My husband is the problem? Am the problem? Why didn't I find a house an hour away? TLDR. You and your husband helped his difficult sister find and build a new house. During this time, your in-laws moved into your home temporarily but are overstaying, affecting your life and mental health. Your husband is not taking clear action to resolve the situation and made a comment questioning your ownership of the home, creating tension in your relationship. It seems like the situation has multiple layers. Lack of boundaries with family, unclear communication between you and your husband, and a stressful living situation. Both you and your husband need to address these issues directly and work on setting firm boundaries. I'd hire someone to load up all of SIL's stuff and take it to her house while I packed up in-laws and their stuff and drop them off at sister's, maybe including husband with in-laws. I have no advice, but if I was told this house wasn't mine, I sure wouldn't be cleaning it, paying any of the bills, etc. I vote for your husband to take his sister's things, his parents and himself to go stay at the new house and see how she likes people just moving in and staying. You need the room for your own family's planned trip. He doesn't want conflict. This stood out to me. He doesn't want sister or parents to kick up a fuss and rock the boat. The only way to fight a chronic boat steadier is to rock the boat yourself. Become a louder nuisance than his sister does. Don't let the topic drop. It's the only thing you'll talk about. Every conversation circles back to it. Get angry. Become the bigger obstacle. And remember, you saved your family money by being a SOM. So on top of your passive income, you also bring in what would have been spent on childcare. He doesn't get to play the income earner card when you're saving your family thousands per month. Your in-laws are not going anywhere. You have a massive husband problem you need to be more worried about than your family visiting. If he is talking even only, some of the time, like he does not consider the house, your house, because you do not pay the mortgage, that is a big problem. You should talk to a lawyer about securing your financial situation. I do not advise even thinking about divorce, but you might want to consider a separation if he keeps ignoring your legitimate concerns. And you definitely want to be ready if divorce comes to you. Because TBH, it sounds like something has gone very wrong with your husband. Hopefully you will work this out. But he is not showing you the respect you are entitled to. And that is always a really bad sign. Mama is, rightfully, losing her mind. Yeah. I'd be pissed. If you can afford it, hire movers to take your Sil's stuff over to her house. Love how you canceled DH's access to your credit cards. Your sister-in-law in trying to leave her parents behind. Saying it's not your house is wild. I'd be furious. Husband is prioritizing his sister's needs over that of his own family. The kicker is the comment about your house and your right to have done what you did. Why is he so afraid of standing up to his sister? It's to the detriment of his family and his poor parents. For what it's worth, I would have bought the bed for his parents at his sister's house just to make sure there was somewhere for them to go. Ditch everything she left at your house on her driveway if she doesn't let you in her house. You are not her maid or keeper, and it's wild your husband thinks you are. Maybe you need a new husband. Well, if your husband thinks the house is just his, he will have a hell of a shock when the split goes 50-50 in the event of a breakup. You jointly own the home whether your name is on the deed or not, so he better get that out of his head. Why doesn't his mom and dad pack their stuff and go help your Sil for a while you have your guests over? Maybe he will learn to appreciate what he has. Also consider getting a job and looking after your own interests. He seems like the type of man that will use you being a som mum against you. I know they are kind of caught up in the middle of this, but have you talked to his parents? I'm just wondering what was said to them about this situation. Were they told they were staying with you? Because that's what it sounds like. Let's put it this way. If I were told I was staying in someone's home for 2 weeks and it turned into longer than that, I'd be both apologizing and getting on the phone with someone to get the move facilitated. Since it doesn't sound like that has happened, I can only guess that they are being told something completely differently from what you are being told. Your husband would rather fight with you than his sister. That much is clear. Talk to the parents. Arrangements are being made, most likely without their approval, and may not even know what has been said about the future of their living arrangements. This is such a mess, bro. Y'all need a middleman. An uninvolved, unbiased third party, like a therapist or a professional mediator, to just talk frankly about all of this and come to a compromise instead of this back and forth. There's so much buried resentment in this whole post, and this is a snapshot of your actual life. PLS. If you care about your marriage, I would just tell his parents to leave. Your husband is not going to do it, so you have to. They have overstayed and are trying to make this a permanent thing. Let them know this was never discussed or agreed on by you, and it's time for them to leave. Make the situation so uncomfortable because it seems your husband is willing to bend over backwards for everyone but you. Take matters into your own hands. Damn, sis-in-law pulled a fast one in you. Good luck getting in-laws out of your house now. This needs to be summed up. I feel very sorry for the parents. Imagine both kids not wanting you. Pretty sure husband got offended that kept saying, my house, instead of, our house, and it turned into that dramatic response about the mortgage. At least that's how I read it. As for the family, he needs to grow a spine and deal with his sister and parents, or step back and let you do it and not complain. The current situation is not tenable. I would tell him you never agree to parents living with you, and if this happens it will be grounds for divorce, and he better start liking at smaller places to move into because you'll be taking half of everything. Your husband has no intention of solving the problem. He is doing nothing, waiting you out. You need to talk to his parents and let them know when you expect them to leave. Your communication with husband is perfectly clear. He is ignoring you. Stop assisting Sil. Remind in-laws daily when your guests will arrive. Don't offer solutions to their problem. Get house ready for your guests and play with your baby. Do not problem solve with husband. He is not being sincere or transparent or trustworthy.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.